Ladies and gentlemen, it has been too long. It is the 6th of January comes first. January 2021. Welcome to the new year. Um, it's been too long. The beginning of this year has been chaotic for me. I know I was gonna be doing a ton of podcasts all the time. I fucked up. Okay, I'm sorry. We're back at it. It is 12:33 a.m. Just getting into the weird space where it's like night slash morning, like that gray area is where I operate at my best. So, again, the whole spirit of this, we're just doing it just because it's ugly, doesn't look great, whatever else, we're just doing it because that's how you get better at content and that's how you grow. And I'm young and I need to do this while I still can. Updates on the stream, not the stream, the podcast, Untitled. Really, really cool artwork. I finished the commission on, or my artist finished the commission I gave him on. And I've got a hold of that now, which I cannot wait to show you guys. But before I show you the commission I got, I'm also incorporating that into the entire design and layout of the podcast. As you guys know, there are no fancynesses, no graphics, no theme song, nothing in this podcast. It's just me sitting here talking my shit. But that will end very, very soon. We'll be incorporating intros, outros. I'll have face cam overlay, but that also means I'll have the opportunity to have guests on board the podcast. You want to be a guest in the podcast? You have something you love to talk about, something you're interested in, and you know me, hit my line. Let's make something happen, man. I want to make as many of these as possible. But I will be making an entire video on itself talking about the graphic design and the things going into the art. I'll have the artists come onto the podcast and talk about it. So much cool shit on the horizon as far as all the art goes. But I guess in the meantime, man, the new year started, and with that, Hyber started. Hyber it's like a gaming collective. It's a bunch of actually pretty close friends of mine who got together and said, we want to create a content group, but we want to do it sort of differently. Not all of us are gamers. And I wasn't even the one who started this. I'm not even gonna like pretend I did. This was like the brainchild of a close friend of mine. His name is Marshall. Now, Marshall went to Ohio State and was a member of the ultimate frisbee team at Ohio State. Now, I tried out for this team my freshman year, which was last year, and made it onto the team barely. But I did. And so over that year, got to get really close with Marshall. He was into gaming culture, and obviously at the time, gaming was my entire life, and it still is. But like that was when I was grinding Gears of War. I was on the Gears Pro circuit, whatever else, like grinding that every single day. He and I love to talk about that stuff. He and his little brother had been grinding and like thinking about all. Grinding's not the right word. I don't know why I slipped into that. He's just been working this idea, this concept, wanting to create, but doing it with a group of people that is unique. It's not just your four kids who grew up and went to high school together and played video games and now do gaming. This group, Hyber, it's a collection of, I think, 12 incredible individuals. And I could not be more lucky to work and talk and play, like share experiences with all these people. We have everything from, you know, video game tryhards like me, coaches and analysts who follow esports. We have people who do a lot more casual gaming, fun playthroughs, speed runs, creatives, things like that. We have people who do visual and graphic design and motion work. There are people who do music, like who like produce music and write beats and do really, really cool like visuals to go along with the beats. Like every kind of content you could think of, videographers, editors, photographers, everything. And I could not be more excited to get this team up and running. And officially we have been for the past 6 days. We kicked it off. The first of the year was the release of Hyber. Since then, we've gotten into our regular schedule and we're just pumping out the content. If you guys have not already, go follow HyberLive on all socials: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. There's what I'm missing. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. There's another. out there somewhere. Whatever, fuck it. Whatever social media you use, look up HyberLive, spelled HyberLive. I don't even know what to say. You will regret it if you didn't. All sorts of crazy content. They host a podcast of their own. They do like full form content Twitch streams with like, everyone's face cam, a community event. We do that once or twice a week. Individuals within Hyber are streaming constantly. Myself, Marshall, Rudy, a couple other members are streaming all the time. Like, could not stress like the level of content we're pushing out, the amount we're pushing it out. Podcasts to Spotify, things to YouTube, short form to TikTok, all sorts of shenanigans on Twitter, Instagram. Like, we are taking it all. We're doing it all in-house. Everyone's on the same page. Everyone is so talented. I could not be more excited for the future of Hyber. Yeah, man. I just, that's what it's all about. Like, just having the opportunity, and this is why gaming is incredible. Just having the opportunity to be close with people you wouldn't otherwise, because like gaming doesn't discriminate. If you're playing the game, everyone's playing the game. You have the equal opportunity to get into events, talk with people, share these experiences, no matter where they are in the world or what they're doing. That's insane. And that being said, even outside of gaming, just art and creation in general, getting to do that with collaboration with other talented people is just, man, it's what I want to do for the rest of my life. It really is. So I'm just getting super stoked just thinking about it, man. The future is bright. Hyber, I'm really, really excited for. But that was not the only thing that kicked off to start off this year. So as a lot of you guys know, if you've been following me on Twitter, following my journey and whatnot, I don't know why I said journey like I'm some like weight loss dietitian or something. If you've been following me on Twitter, keeping up with my shit, you know that I also recently transitioned away from competitive gears for the moment, for the time being, into collegiate Call of Duty. Now, I am 19 years old, a sophomore studying international business at the Ohio State University, mate. Yeah. So going to Ohio State and being pretty good at Call of Duty, and then saying, hey, we're going to get a lot better at Call of Duty. We kind of went out and we kind of did it. So I was lucky enough to make it onto the premier team of Call of Duty at Ohio State. There are two teams, Team Scarlet and Team Gray. Team Scarlet is our primary team. Team Gray is our secondary team. I am the substitute for Team Scarlet. So with 4 players, you need a 5th substitute. So I'll be substituting as well as coaching. But you get the opportunity to substitute players in map to map. So I actually get a really decent amount of play time because there's certain things that I'm pretty good at and certain things I suck ass at. So just grinding all around the board, an incredibly talented group of people who are miraculously on the same page as far as work ethic, mindset, maturity. I could not be more grateful to work with these players. And we kicked off a league before the regular season. So like Collegiate Call of Duty has a league called the CCL, the College COD League. And they are amazing. They're run by some really, really talented, incredible people who put on a show, a broadcast. They keep statistics, website, signups, prize pool, huge, everything. They have weekly like league play where you play other teams in your division and whatnot. And then at the end of all that league, after the couple months of regular season play, you go into a postseason tournament and you like battle it out and whatnot. Like, it is so cool, so well ran, and I could not be more excited for this year. However, prior to that, my team got invited to join another college Call of Duty league called the College XP League, and that started 2 days ago. We played a match yesterday and a match today, and my team is currently 2-0, taking down 2 very, very talented teams. Really, really great start. And it's been so long since I've had like not necessarily the nerve wracking, but just like the competitive gaming, like the adrenaline rush, the feeling in your gut, like stuff's going on and we might win, we might not. That like nervousness, but that same excitement, like that combination is, you don't get that anywhere else. That's incredibly unique. And getting the opportunity to feel that and then coming out on top of both those matches with the group of guys that I did, man, it's beautiful. fucking beautiful. But so yeah, the Buckeye Call of Duty. If you guys want to keep up with us, all of our Twitter antics, we do all of our own shit as far as we do our stream highlights. We'll do montages. We post up league matches to our YouTube, all kinds of stuff. Check us out at BuckeyeCOD on Twitter, BuckeyeCOD. Really, really great time. Really good people, and a whole lot of bodies are being shot. But it's just a lot of fun. What else? What else should I talk about, man? I mean, there's something. I'm involved in a lot of shit, right? And for those of you who know me and have either known me for a really long time or even just a short time, I am always getting into some shit, and I know everybody. Now, everybody is hyperbole. You know, we're using the big vocab here, but I don't have any enemies. I don't have any beef with anyone. I've never made any enemies. I don't think there's really anyone out there who like dislikes me, you know, or hates me. I mean, there's people out there who might not like me. Not everyone. I'm not some golden child, but I've never given anyone any reason to not like me. And I think that has been why I've had the opportunity and privilege to bounce around all kinds of different places, all kinds of different environments, and have all these opportunities just because like my demeanor. You know, I'm 19 years old. I spent 2 years in the professional Gears of War circuit. You know, I, quote, retired from Gears of War at the age of 19. Now, granted, I did not have a particularly special career. I didn't win a championship. I was a coach. I wasn't crazy involved in the community, but I was well known and well liked. So, you know, I wouldn't call it a career. I didn't make life money off of it and all sorts of crazy stuff like that to pay rent and buy houses and shit. But that was a period of my life in which I put a lot of effort and met a lot of people and grew a shitload. But just wanting to learn. I think people who are curious and willing to learn will go the farthest in life because not everyone knows everything. And there's a whole lot of people who only know one or two things. And for me, at my youth and my young age and my lack of experience, I fall into the latter category. I know a lot about a couple things, but there's so much out there that I don't know anything about. And like, I know enough to know that I don't know anything. So every opportunity I get to talk to industry professionals, whether it's in esports management, photography, video and graphic design, still image artists, I don't even know, other professionals in other video games, like other coaches, like other streamers, like whatever it is, I go to anyone who's successful, or I like not emulate, but are like, I want to be like you, or like what you've got going on. I respect that and want to learn from that. You just go to these people, man. Go to them humble, but not, you know, all lowly and, oh, I'm not good enough, but then also not, oh, I don't need you. I've done this, this, and that. So I feel like people struggle to be on either side of that spectrum a lot. And being on either extreme is really, really bad because people will only take you as seriously as you take yourself. But at the same time, if you take yourself too seriously, people will notice and they'll just sort of be like, that doesn't interest me. That's not the kind of person I want to be around, or the kind of person that's, I don't know, just fun to be with. So finding that like golden middle where like knowing your worth and being real to yourself, and also saying, hey, I know a lot about Gears. I know a lot about that environment, and I'm an entertainer and I love what I do, but also there's so much more to learn on this end and so many other things I have no clue about that I want to learn and been interested in. Getting that like sort of balance lets you work and communicate and engage with all these people. And that doesn't mean that every single person I hit up is like, oh shit, I want to work with this kid. He's cool, great energy, whatever, right? Like that's not the case. But I would honestly say a large majority, probably 75% of the people I reach out and talk to love to talk about what they do. And that's what's beautiful about esports and that entire world of esports, right? Everything. Esports is huge, and content creation, and then photography, and the management, like everything under the huge umbrella of esports. The people there are trailblazers. Esports is new, it's young. And these people are passionate. They love what they do and they're really fucking good at it. So when someone with, ambition, but like a lot of excitement and energy comes to you and says, "Why do you love what you do?" Like, what is it? These people, they love talking about their passions because that's what they are, is passionate people. And I would say that's one of the biggest things I could focus on, I guess I would say. And I guess, I didn't know where this episode was going to go, but I think right now this episode is definitely going in the direction of networking. Um, and that's sort of like a businessy word for like making friends and learning from others. But I'm just gonna say the word networking because I don't have a better word. And we'll just sort of move from here and talk about my experience with networking. It's what I pride myself on, and I think it's what's gotten me to where I am just so far so quickly. Um, I'll start off like this. Uh, my nose is full. I got a COVID test because my fraternity requires me to test before I go back to campus. I go back to campus in a couple days. So this lady fucking wonked my nose with that shit, and I was like, it's all fucked up. But here we go. Genuine people recognize other genuine people. That's that. That's the end of it right there. You can't fake it. These are passionate people who love what they do every day. And if you fake the interest or you fake the qualifications or whatever it is, like, people are going to know. They get like that feeling from you, or to be really, really obvious, or to be really just a subtle off-putting vibe. Like, whatever it is, you can't fake it. Whatever you love to do and want to chase, be genuine, be true to that, be genuine to that. And I see a lot of people struggle with this. And I personally think it's because they're chasing the wrong things, right? Like, there might be someone who, let's just put this into words and contexts that I know. Let's say there's people out there who want to be Gears of War professionals. They want to be a Gears of War professional player in the pro circuit. That's their dream. That's what they want to do. You how do I you can't, and then but they want to be this professional player and want to do all this shit, but they're not putting in the effort. Or all they're doing is grinding, focusing me, playing GBs, playing shit. And then whenever they team with someone and that player does poorly, they're like, shit, you suck. I don't want to play with you. Move on. I'm better than that. I deserve more. And then suddenly you get to the point where all the people who you think are worse than you don't want to play with. And all the people you want to play with, you're irrelevant to them. You have no impact on them. They don't want to team with you. And then you get into this weird spot or hole where you're just frustrated or angry because you're like, I did all this. I did everything right. Fake friends, whatever else. Take that out on the world around you like it's the world's fault. It's not. It's your fault. If someone doesn't like you or doesn't want to work with you, that's not their fault. You just did something or were some type of way that person didn't like. So even if you were perfectly good and perfectly fine and worked hard and did great, whatever else, there's some people who just might just not like you and want to team with you. But that number of people who don't want to work with you gets exponentially higher when you're not authentic and you don't take responsibility for shit. It just goes up higher and higher and higher. People don't want to work with you. They don't want to work with that. But when you're authentic to what you want, you're not insecure about this or that, or am I good enough, or projecting those insecurities out, or not taking responsibility for mistakes you might have made and learning from them and growing. People don't want to deal with that. They just don't. It's a dead end. And then some people are caught up in it, for the wrong reasons. Like, ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I chasing this? Right? And for a lot of people, they're like, oh, I want to be a Gears Pro player. Why? Because I want to be one of the best. That second why is really, really critical. You want to be the best why? Do you want people's respect? Do you want people's attention? Do you want the money? Do you want the fame? Whatever else it is, like, figure out what that why is. Because if you don't know the answer to that why, you're not going to be chasing the right things. Because let's say the answer is money. Get out of Gears, bro. There's a lot of other esports that have better money than Gears of War. Let's say it's the fame or attention. Um, okay, why do you want that attention? Like, you want to be in the spotlight, you want to make big plays? Okay, make the people around you look good, and you'll look really, really good. And then have the opportunities to shine on the main stage, to shine in the spotlight, right? It's all about making the people around you better, right? If there's a player who doesn't necessarily slay out on top of every board, doesn't necessarily make clutch play after clutch play and just a huge impact on the map, but everyone who plays with him plays better and goes, no, that player made an awesome impact. Played textbook, did great, made me feel better. I played better because of him. You're gonna have a spot on a lot of really, really talented teams, and then have the opportunity to play at those higher levels. Or if you're a really, really flashy player, doing all this, doing all that, me, focused and focused and focused, just on me and what I can do and how I can grow and the spotlight on me and all this attention and shit, you're never going to break into that pro level because the pros don't want to work with someone who's all me focused, right? Why would I pick someone up if they're not going to make me better? That's just me. Now, granted, some teams do that. Certain players, you know, I'm not even really going to speak to it, but some people do that. And I just think that those teams won't be successful in the long run because people's priorities are different. And when every person's out for themselves, that team is going to crumble when resistance gets theirs, frustration, whatever else it is. But we'll sort of step out of that smaller rabbit hole here and just talk networking in general. You know, it's about the impressions you make on others. You get one first impression. One. And the thing is, especially with the internet, you don't always know when that's going to be, right? Because, like, think about, I put myself out on Twitter a lot. Twitter is my main tool for networking, engaging with my fan base, engaging with the things that I love and I'm passionate about. Twitter all day. If someone I don't know goes to view my Twitter and look at me and scroll through it real quick, if you scroll through my Twitter for like literally 5 straight minutes, you will know me. You will. My personality is out there. It's authentic. It's genuine. And it's out there. So, and I have no idea that you just met me, right? Some random who just pulled up my Twitter at Coach Crazy Train, scrolled through it, now has this idea of me and this concept of me and all that shit. And I have no idea that person even exists, right? And on the flip side of that, it could be someone really, really important. Like, let's say, I don't know. Let's say I've been grinding, working my ass off, and I want to go work for Optic as a data analyst. I don't know, whatever. Let's say Hex finds my Twitter, scrolls through it, sees stuff he really likes or sees all this and that. I get that good first impression. Things are looking up. I'm one step closer. But, there's a lot of other steps to take, but I'm one step closer. I have the opportunity to work the other angles and continue forward. But if Hex goes through my Twitter and after 30 seconds of scrolling through it says, nah, the genuine person, he recognizes that I'm like fake or I'm off or I give him weird vibes, or even just, again, like I said, maybe he just doesn't like me, even though I'm perfectly fine. I don't even get the chance to take other steps forward. You know what I mean? That first impression is everything. And in the world of gaming and esports and the internet, we don't always know when that first impression will be for other people. And that is why I cannot stress it enough. Be genuine, bro. Be who you are. It's scary. I will not lie to you. It's scary to be authentic and genuine all the time. It is. It's hard. It's not easy. There's a couple times where like I've gotten shit for things I've said in the past or made fun of for different things where like I was awake thinking like, oh no, now everyone thinks I'm weird, or everyone doesn't like me, or everyone thinks I'm stupid, or that dude I want to team with ignored me, or now I'll never get picked up as a coach again, or this or that, right? But it is better to be genuine and authentic and go through that struggle and go through that like panic, because that means when you find these opportunities, you're ready for them. You're the perfect fit. Like you are there because you deserve to be there. And that's where that growth happens, because you're primed for that position. You step into it and it feels like it was made for you. It's because it was. But if you're not genuine and you're not authentic and sort of like sneak yourself into different situations or whatnot, and then you could get there and then it blows up or it blows back on you, or you didn't perform how you're supposed to, or this or that or that, or you get exposed, right? Like, it's really hard to dig yourself out of that hole. Really hard. That's how you end up, that's how careers get ended before they even start sometimes. And I'm starting early and I'm starting young. So I feel like it's almost more important than ever for me being young, upcoming, no reputation, no this or that, to be authentic and genuine. So every first impression is the one I want it to be, right? The other person might not like me, but I put my best foot forward and I'm confident about that. That's huge. Let's talk about how to talk to different kinds of people. Because I feel like, again, in networking, that's something else that a lot of people don't do right that I've noticed so far in my, I'm only 19. Everything I'm saying here about business and networking, I'm 19. I barely have any experience with this shit. But I'm just saying the things that I've learned and the things that I think some people miss. Some of it might not be true. Some of it might be true. I don't know. I'm just sharing my personal experience in my own context. But how to talk to different people, right? Like I've said, esports is such a diverse environment. Diverse beyond anything. Every part of esports is, like I've said, I said this all the time. The art, the creativity, the business, the competition, like everything, right? So to be successful in esports, you have to have relationships built with all kinds of different people. Because that's how you get new opportunities. That's how it's better to put, instead of having 3 lines in the water and worrying about catching fish, you need to catch a fish, and you have 3 lines out there, and every single one of those lines you have so much focus on, you want to hit and need it. That's stressful and it's low percentage. And then if all 3 of those don't hit, what are you left with? Nothing. But if you have the ability to throw out 20, 30 lines out and you only need like 5 fish, certain things can go your way, certain things won't. There's a lot of variables involved, but the odds are you'll come out in a good space and you'll have the opportunity to continue forward. But the only way to have the ability to cast out that many lines and get that many potential opportunities is to know a lot of different people, right? Like, let's talk about the CDL. All of those players are known for being incredible at Call of Duty, right? Best in the world. And for a lot of those players, with the league contracting to only 4v4, meaning that 12 teams times 4 is 48. There's 48 professional Call of Duty players in the world right now. There used to be 60. And before that, it used to be a lot more, depending on placements and stuff, before the franchise league. But if you're not one of those 48 players, and that was your 1-for-1 reel in the water, get the fish, that's my lifestyle, that's what I'm going to do, that's how I make my living, you're in a difficult spot. Now, you can work through the challengers. Luckily, there's a lot of support there. There's some money. People starting to work things up there. You can play in Warzone tournaments and things, right? Those are 2 other lines you could throw in the water, right? But again, those are only 2-3 lines, and they're all highly competitive. And although you're super, super skilled in that area, some things just are out of your control sometimes. But, if you know a bunch of different people and you chase and learn from a lot of different things, and let's say, I guess I'll use myself as an example. Pro Gears, use that as a platform to learn and engage and meet with all kinds of different people. Now I have the experience from Pro Gears and the reputation I've made over a lot of days, being on stage, on main stage, doing interviews on stream in front of thousands of people, talking and hanging out with my competitors and teammates, learning and talking to the people working backstage, to the people commentating the desk, to the photographer taking the photos. Like a guy by the name of Joe Brady does a lot of the photography for Gears Esports. Not all of it. There's some other really, really talented photographers like Reese. Just Snipes also does a ton of really incredible work, but I'm specifically talking about Joe because he does the headshots for Gears as well as a lot of the other shots of the things going on stage. Boston, right? We go back to Boston. That's where I placed top 12 with Hydra. I was literally nobody. No reputation. No one knew who I was. I had no experience. I wasn't even a good coach. I was just lucky enough to be there through a series of networking and just trying, grinding, not taking no for an answer. Eventually got the opportunity. When we won, or we made it out of open bracket to get into pool play, we had to have headshots taken, right? It is 11 at night. We've been playing since 11 in the morning. We're all exhausted. I've been standing all day behind my players, not even sitting down. I'm exhausted. And the first thing we did when we all walked backstage to go meet the guys at the end of their shift to do the last photography for the night, we were the last team to make it in, struck up a conversation with him. Said, hey, man, what are you up to this evening? It's probably been a long day. How long you been up? And just talked to him. Talked about what he's doing, how his day's going, what he's up to, what is he looking forward to, right? And he took headshots of all of us, and I said, hey, I got a lot of respect, because we're out here grinding and working our asses off, but as soon as these photos are done, we get to go home. We know you guys have a lot of work to do even later on tonight, and then it starts all over again even early tomorrow before we even show up. That's hard. I respect that. Hopefully you guys are doing well, man. I'll see you tomorrow. That's pretty much all I said. And then I saw him tomorrow. And then the next time I said, I was like, yo, Joe, how you doing, man? Thank you so much for my photos last night. Really excited just to be here. I hope your day goes great. Talk again soon. And he was like, yeah, man, awesome. Right? He's not gonna be like angry at me. I'm just a young kid. I stepped into his shoes, said, hey, I see what you're doing. I respect that. And again, that's the genuine recognizing another genuine person, and made that connection. And then Sunday, the last day, I went on my way and I found Joe and I said, hey, Joe, amazing work this weekend. I cannot wait to see all the photos you get out. This was my first time placing in the top 12, being a professional Gears player. It's the last event of the season, but I hope I see you in the future, right? And then over the summer, over the whole break, didn't really think about it too much. Followed him on Twitter. He followed me back, whatnot. But then we get to San Diego, which is the first open major for the Gears 5 circuit, Season 1. I see him in San Diego because he's taking our headshots. And Hive at the time was in the pro league and pretty well established. But I saw him again. And I walked into the room because I knew he was taking the headshots. And I was like, yo. And he knew me and had recognized me again from my earlier conversation. And it was the same thing. 6 months later, I was on the same energy because I wasn't acting. I wasn't trying to be someone new or do anything else. I genuinely liked Joe. He was a cool person. I do some photography as a hobby. I respected what he was doing and thought it was dope. So when I saw him again 6 months later, I didn't have to act. I didn't have to remember, oh shit, go talk to Joe because I need him for later, right? Or whatever else. I just saw him and was excited and talked to him again, right? And then by the time I saw him then in Mexico City for the third time, he said hi to me first. Had fist bump, talk, hang out with the team, take all our headshots. He would take headshots of me. You don't even know I'm supposed to take headshots of the coach. But he took headshots of me because we were tight. We were cool. We were close. And I'd still get up to him, talk to him. I ask him for advice in photography on Twitter all the time. And if I hit his Twitter DMs, he's super busy doing stuff all the time and traveling. COVID slowed that down a lot. But anytime he sees me DM him, he gives me, the time of day to hit me back. Genuinely will talk to me, give me ideas, we'll discuss shit. That's amazing that I have the opportunity to talk with a world-renowned, award-winning esports photographer anytime I want. If I pull up my Twitter, DM him right now, it's 1 a.m. in the morning, he won't see it. Tomorrow, eventually he'll see it. He'll hit me back whenever I DM'd him on. That's incredible. And it wasn't because I went out of my way, I found him on LinkedIn, tracked him down. I just looked at the people around me, was genuine and interested, right? Now, I don't know. I didn't do this with the people who ran the post-production and the broadcast booth because that didn't particularly interest me. And I don't know. It didn't strike me the same way the photography did. So I don't have a relationship with them. Now, I could go in and say hi and learn to talk to different people if I wanted to force that relationship. But, that's not always as good. However, in certain situations, networking is about, quote, forcing a relationship, or at least not forcing the relationship, but reaching, that's actually a really bad way of putting it. Reaching out and just starting that engagement with that person, and then if it works out, it does. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But that's sort of an anecdotal, it's late, I'm tired kind of transition off into nowhere. But how do you talk to different people? Rule 1, just be genuine. Be real. Whatever kind of person you are, don't change that no matter who you're talking to. It'll hurt in the short run, maybe. It'll help in the short run, definitely. But in the long run, you will always win being genuine. But how do you talk to different people? You got to change your language up, right? I can talk to an artist and use specific vocabulary and specific terms about photography, have a great communication. And if I go talk to a fellow competitor, a Gears of War player, using the same language and the same like vocabulary and shit, that's weird. It doesn't work. That's not how the relationship's built. So being very, very self-aware of who am I talking to right now? And then connecting with that person using the language behind your relationship. I'm talking to a photographer as a hobbyist and as someone who he's doing work for. So I approach that as saying, hey man, I recognize what you're doing. A lot of people don't. That's me, the hobbyist, seeing the professional work and saying that, thank you for helping me out. I appreciate that, whatever else. That's that context. Or then also, me being a fresh off the block pro coach who had no idea what he was doing, talking to other people, saying, hey, I want to learn from you in this experience and that, talking to other pro coaches. Hey, what did you wish you knew when you were on land, right? And then I'm using coach vocabulary. You're talking about we're both in the same world, but you're really experienced and I'm not. So recognizing that and then talking using that same language in that context of he's professional, I'm not, but I want to learn. Talking business, right? Let's say, I've got a product that I want to sell to a businessman. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the product. I'm trying to get a job or something else. Saying that I'm a seller and he's a buyer. So I, knowing that context, have to change my language and the way I'm talking to fit that narrative. To say, hey, what are you interested in? How does that form you? Okay, well then now I've got this solution for you, and be like the provider, right? Finding out what the problem is, presenting a solution, working it, getting to know that person and what the problem is you can best help. You have to change your language. I wouldn't talk like that to the photographer, Joe. I wouldn't be like, hey, Joe, what's your problem this evening? How can I help you out? What can I do for you tonight? You're like, that doesn't work. That you can't use the same language for everyone you talk to. And by changing up that language and understanding the context of what's going on, while also just staying genuine, you'll make a lot of friends and meet a lot of really, really talented people in the world. And keep in mind, just because I'm changing up and doing different things doesn't mean I'm not being genuine. Because at the core of it, I'm me and I'm being very open and, vulnerable and just out there, interested and want to learn. And I think like that curiosity, again, you ask professionals, why do you love what you do? How did you get there? What did you wish you knew? What are you up to today? Like, they're excited to talk about what they love. So, yeah, I don't talk about myself a lot when I'm meeting new people, if at all. I'll talk about myself a little bit just to introduce, hey man, I'm this, this, and this. Just to introduce myself and like establish the context. And then from there, the conversation's all about, hey, can you tell me about this or that? Or I'm interested in this because of this. Could you share me your experience? Like really thinking about, how you're talking to different kinds of people is critical. And I feel like not a lot of people do that. But the people that do, they then have the network and relationships built with other genuine people to have the opportunity to throw out hundreds of different lines into the water and have much better chances at pulling more fish. I mean, that's all it is at the end of the day. I would say let's talk about, not all relationships are equal, right? Understanding also, once you've got that relationship, how big is that relationship, right? So my relationship with other people in Hyber is really, really big. Really great relationship. I could ask them for favors, for help, for advice all the time. And they're there because like they're like my best friends and like my closest relationships. So I can ask a lot of them because I know the strength of that relationship and how close we care about each other. I can get it out. Whereas like a relationship that I have, I recently got to have a really, really cool conversation with Clerky, who's general manager at United and a director at Maryville Esports, or at Maryville running their esports. That was an amazing conversation. Really, really exciting for me as a youth in collegiate esports. Dan is the man, right? Without being able to use any other cheesy term, right? But that relationship is very, very new, and it's not crazy well developed yet. So I'm not going to ask him, hey, can you do a favor for me and have a phone call with some dude from, I don't know, 100 Thieves that you know and put in a good word for me because I'm applying there, right? Like that, there's a mismatch between the strength of that relationship and what I'm asking of him. And if that mismatch happens, you could hurt that relationship, or it just makes things awkward. It's just not how it should work properly. And that's a very big example in like business and stuff, but you go down to even something smaller. If someone who doesn't follow me on Twitter, never really engages with any of my tweets, and puts out something that's just about them, like my montage or my video about me, who, doesn't ever follow me, doesn't ever engage or even try to talk to me, sends me a DM and says, hey, retweet this video for me, thanks. And the video isn't something that I care about. Almost anytime someone in Gears sends me a video or a montage, I retweet it because I recognize the effort behind that and want to see Gears grow. But like, if some kid just sends me a Fortnite video, hey, please retweet it, thanks, I'm not even giving that a second thought. I'm just ignoring it because he's asking a big thing from a relationship that not only isn't small, it just doesn't exist. So it's useless. It's a waste of his time. It annoys me. And now I have a bad first impression of this kid. That kid's ruined it for me. That relationship. I likely won't ever have a relationship with that kid that's like beneficial for either of us. So I guess, that would be some advice I would give out to anyone trying to learn and grow in esports. Let's talk about when things don't go well. Because for me, more often than not, things don't go well. And, I like to think that so far I've been really successful. I've had the opportunity to coach professionally, travel across the country and internationally for video games. Made a lot of amazing contacts with different people of different, businesses and industries across everything. That's so exciting, especially only at the age of 19, already being involved in so much shit and have different experience and different relationships built and a reputation already built. Like, that's really exciting. But that's the 15% of me that's worked out and has gotten showed to the world and like has been visible. 85% of stuff that I've tried to do or wanted to do has failed. Right? So when things fail or they don't work out, that relationship's not necessarily over because the context of it might just not have worked out. Right? So, God, sorry guys. My nose is fucked up. That lady fucking jammed my shit. Reset. Let me get a drink. All right. Where was I? Right. When things don't go your way, it might not be because of the relationship or that person specifically. You don't know always what happened. Like let's say I applied for a job and I go in for an interview and the dude denies me that job. After that interview is over and he says, I'm sorry, I can't offer you the job, and I'm sitting across him on the desk, I don't stand up and say, this is bullshit, you're fucking dumb. If you knew better, you would hire me. I could do so much good for you, blah, 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 and storm out of there and just think that whole company's stupid, the manager, the hirer are stupid, and just move on with my life. That's stupid. Because not only are you confirming what that person thought about you, but also you can never, ever go back there and get another opportunity and a different job and different shit. Like, you just burn that bridge entirely. It's done. Whereas if I apply for a job and he says, hey, I can't offer you this job right now, either you're not qualified or this or that, I could be like, hey, I respect that. Thank you for your time. I'll continue working forward. Hope you have a good rest of your day. And I walk out. He's going to think, wow, that kid handled that well. He was, he handled that well. He gave it good thought. He was clear and concise and said, hey, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And left. So that if I come back with some proper certifications or a new job position opens up or something else, I have a very, very good chance. My first impression with him was really, really good. I have a very good chance of getting that job. Right? And that's just one example that could be applied everywhere. Right? It's insane. And especially like in esports, I don't know what I'm working towards necessarily as far as a job goes, right? Like the job that I'm working for and that I'm networking for and I'm learning and doing all this experience, that job probably doesn't even exist yet. And so making sure that I learn from all these situations, I'm making friends, even having just some relationships that aren't friendly, they're just purely business or purely associations. Like, just don't burn bridges. Be the bigger person, be kind. Don't let your insecurities bring down other people's view of you. Let me say that again. Don't let your own insecurities bring down other people's view on you. So let's give an example. Let's say you're playing Gears, you're on a team and you get dropped. That's obviously frustrating and it's hurtful, right? It's never fun getting dropped. Lashing out, or tweeting bad about your team or being frustrated or whatever else makes you look bad. It eliminates the possibility of teaming with any of those players in the future, right? And it just makes you look bitter, and other teams aren't likely to pick you up because they saw you be toxic to their old team. And like, if I pick you up, I'm next. I'm the next person you're going to be toxic to if you have to leave. That's just stupid, right? And if you really cared about that team, making it the best team it could be possible, and that whole team says, we don't think you're the best fit for that team right now, let go of that ego. Let go of that insecurity that you aren't enough or whatever else. Because if you really wanted that team to be good, and the team's telling you that you aren't the solution, and that makes you really, really angry or frustrated with them, then you didn't really care about that team in the first place, right? It's natural to be frustrated. It's natural to be a little bit hurt or just to have some emotions about that because you care a lot. But if you can't come to the realization that if that team doesn't want you there, then you aren't the best person to do that, then your concern isn't about the team, it's about you, right? So let go of that ego. You continue forward. Say, okay, I'm not a best fit for this team, but I will be a good fit for the next team. And if not that team, the team after that, and keep working and working and working and learning from that opportunity. Saying, hey, why did you guys drop me? Oh, your communication sucked. You didn't make people around you feel good and you were late to practice. Next time, you won't be late to practice. You'll communicate better. But they're like, you're just not right. You don't make us better people. Now, when you go to that third team, you have all three of those things solved. You could be a really good fit for that team. The reality of it, though, is you don't get an unlimited number of chances. You don't, right? Because of that reputation. So I guess what I would say is make the most of every opportunity you get and every chance you get. That's why every single person I go to and talk to, I try and learn from. I ask them, what do you love to do? How did you get here? What did you wish you knew? What advice would you give to a younger self? What was the biggest mistake you ever made? Going out of my way ahead of time, just really genuinely interested in talking to these people I think are super cool, because the problem that question solves doesn't even exist yet, right? So by me learning and talking to all these different people and changing up my dynamic and building these relationships, I'm learning so much that problem or the reason that you got dropped, those three things, I've already solved before I'm even on the team. So guess what? I won't get dropped. And if you do get dropped from that spot, that's one of your fishing lures empty. You learn from that, and then every single one of the other fishing lures that you have in the water, because of your relationships, the different things you're chasing, blah, 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 those are all way more likely to catch fish. So you go from maybe having 3 lures in the water and only catching, one fish, and it was super stressful and took a lot of effort and was damaging and took a lot of luck, to having 40 lures out there, catching 9 to 12 fish, and it was all really genuine, and those 9 to 12 fish / opportunities are really well fit for you, right? Like if you lie on a job application and then get the job, the real you is not a good fit for the job. So if you get denied from a job, that's a blessing, because if they accepted you into that job, even though you weren't ready for it, or even though it wasn't good for you, you'd be in a bad spot. That's just how it is, right? So say, okay, let go of that insecurity, let go of that frustration or that fear and say, yeah, okay, if I deserve that, I would have it. Keep working, keep learning, and eventually you will deserve a lot of good things. And guess what? A lot of good things will come your way. I I don't really know what else to say about that, man. I'm just going through all the things that I've sort of learned through my networking and the opportunities and relationships that I've built. Like, yeah, I would say that's the biggest thing to take away is learn from the people around you. So the mistakes that they made, you don't. So if you're constantly learning and meeting all these new people and genuinely interested, not only can you build a relationship with that person that can help both people and just give you this network of support that allows you to go even farther and have even greater opportunities. But once you get to those opportunities, you won't make any of the mistakes that that support system around you made. No, I mean, that's the best way to put it. That's why networking as a genuine person and being excited to learn and curious and passionate, that's why those kinds of people go really, really far. They have a lot of opportunities, they've got a lot of support, and they don't make mistakes when they're given opportunities. That's the bread and butter of it. That's the insert whatever thing here, bro. I don't know. It's late as hell. I'm tired. I'm probably just gonna end the podcast here. I didn't know where this was gonna go. I sometimes write out little blurbs or like little baby mini bullet points of what I want to talk about or where it's gonna go. This one I literally just sat down and did, right? Because the whole truth, the whole idea behind this podcast is just do. Let go of the fear that it's not gonna be good. Let go of the anxiety or the self-consciousness behind how good is it or was it enough or will it be received well or will people like it, just do it. And I think just by going out there and giving it your best, I'm learning a lot, and I hope that benefit people who listen. I hope it entertained. This one wasn't really that funny or that exciting, but I think this one could really, really benefit a lot of people. So I hope it helps. Again, I will apologize for this stiffy nose. Like, dude, I'm telling you, this lady rocked my shit. Oh, all right, y'all. I'm cashing out. You guys have a beautiful night, morning, whenever you're watching this. Thank you guys so much. Lots of podcasts coming in the future. Definitely kicking around 2 to 3 a week. I have to catch up, so you might get one a day for a couple days here on out. Like and subscribe, and also keep an eye out on my Twitter and everything else. I'm going to be doing a whole little production thing, shouting out everyone and all the artists who are currently working on the graphics, the intro music, the motion graphics, the design, the art, everything behind what's going to make this podcast amazing. And once I have all that set up, I can also bring in guests, like I said. So hit my line with that. Yo, I love y'all. Take care of each other. I'm out. Now. I can't click this fucking button, bro. I got it.